I'm going to now give the word to Professor Bojan Lalic. He is in Beijing and he has a limited time, but he is the director of the Belt and Road Institute in Belgrade. I'm very happy that you could be with us now for the first time, but definitely not the last time. So you're welcome, Bojan, to have the word.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me in this format, which is very interesting for us, even though it's relations between EU and China. So, as the country that is not yet a member of EU, I think I hope I can provide some insights from our side because Serbia is very persistent in the cooperation. Firstly, from 2012, in a mechanism of cooperation between China and Southeast European countries, and then is another cooperation from the Belt and Road perspective, and therefore. I think we can be a kind of a good model how the cooperation can grow from I don't know, I think 2014 till now. Serbia changed a lot thanks to the initiative, and of course the turbulence in this time asks for additional measures and additional ideas how to overcome the stories that presidency named as something unseen in a century. And definitely, when he said that, it was 2 years ago. Now it's, I think, double more unseen in a more than century. It's something that is, if I may say, craziness around the world, where you have a lot of activities that we are undertaking with no critical thinking and no sense. So the Serbia has certain issues, and for many years we tried to find, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking on a bit more operational level, because I think that there are some steps that we need to follow and to build the fundamentals for the future, for the development. Therefore, we were following very strongly the first decade of the Belt and Road Initiative, which was for the Eastern Europe, and I see here colleagues from Eastern Europe as well, which is the decade of the infrastructure development, especially for the Eastern European countries, because here in Eastern Europe, but also in Africa, also in some parts of Asia, the infrastructure is insufficient for our development, and that's something that supposed to be the main pillar. I learned from the colleagues from China Academy of Social Sciences once that he criticized the EU development, equal regional development project, and said that's nice, and the idea is good, and overall framework is great, but most of the Western countries are receiving most of the funds, and the Eastern European countries are not developing that fast with that pace to reach Western Europe, and that's in favor of Europe, actually, because when we are speaking about Serbia to be a country that will join the European Union, if we are stronger in infrastructure and so on, the joining will be easier. And therefore, we learned a lot, and we like to say that we tried to create a kind of to call Serbia as a kind of a European Shenzhen. Why Shenzhen? Because we were going back to 1970s, but China started to develop, and we tried to understand that. And I think in Europe, it's very important to understand this philosophy of the regional development with the special economic zones. So the special economic zones are something that Europe is not undertaking in a way to connect with not only China but also Middle East countries and so on. And in the crisis, actually, we discussed last year one very big challenge, and sorry that I need to say that, and I discussed that several times. We see from the perspective of the out of EU, we see two EUs. One is European, and the second one is not so European. It's under the strong influence, and I think the European Europe is waking up, and I think that is a process, and that process will bring all these stories that we are starting now that are kind of a contribution. So it's not easy to start the process. The process was started somehow, and I think in the future we can expect, I think, more pro-European moves in the cooperation with China. As Steven said, China has a great civilization. Actually, the longest living civilization that was never overseas colonial power is some, let's say, guarantee for the peaceful integration and peaceful development. Of course, many times when you're speaking about this, you have to answer the big question about the debt trap. And said, what about debt trap? Because in Serbia, we are investing in infrastructure and we are borrowing money from Chinese bank. We are borrowing money also from European Investment Bank and so on. And for us, it's the same. Debt trap is something when you borrow some money and go to the gambling place, you will lose and you will fall into the debt trap. If you are investing in infrastructure, if you're investing in something that will bring back the industry and so on, that's the other part of the story. And of course, it's I think the bridges are very important, not physically bridges, but bridges that are created through different agreements, different contracts, and so on. We don't have them on the one place, on a one platform to see. For example, Serbia signed the free trade agreement with China, and there was a huge problem in the eyes of European Union. But for us, we see that as a bridge between China and Europe because we have a special treatment as a pre-access country to European Union, but also we have a special treatment in China. We have today a special treatment with the Emirates, with Egypt, and so on. So with the many countries. So those platforms supposed to build the actual economy because all our philosophy is very important to support the economy because now you don't know what's the bigger problem. Either the problem of the pure economy or pure philosophy. Pure philosophy is not strong enough to move forward. Pure economy is a problematic because it's weak, it's thin, it's not with the depth. So we discussed once the Gwadar port, the famous Gwadar port in Pakistan, part of the CPEC corridor, and inside there is a port. But inside the port, if you watch and read the history, those are spots, the places where you can install philosophical schools, as a place where you can match the ideas of people from different parts of the world. That was the ancient Silk Road, and that was something that is substance that's supposed to create a cohesion in the future. But of course, we need to be patient because China did this rehabilitation of the economy for the last 40, 50 years. And our problem is consuming society because we want to earn money, we want to spend money, we want to earn money, we want to spend money. If we have less money, then it's a big problem. So in Serbia, we are trying to build industrial parks. We are trying to support the industry because most of automotive producers in Chinese are right now in Serbia, and they're doubling their capacities every year because they see the good location for the exchange and for the cooperation. And of course, there is infrastructure, a big project between Belgrade and Budapest, high-speed railway. You know, in Eastern Europe, we don't have a high-speed railway. That's a huge challenge. So philosophically speaking, it's something that we are eager to learn how to make it continual, how to make it sustainable, but also we have to act in this very moment. So speaking about the special situation with the United States and the Trump, and especially about turning back to the fossil fuel. That's something that only countries that has a stable political idea and the philosophy can stand. Because today and yesterday I'm in Beijing, in a shiny Beijing with a lot of sun. And that's something that will not change, that will push forward the story. So we have to keep our own pace and to keep our development ideas, also to respect others if they don't want to contribute. That's also okay. Of course, I'm speaking from the perspective that Serbia respects China very much because it's easier for us to cooperate with China than to EU, maybe Russia, because we are sharing the same idea of territorial integrity and sovereignty, where we have a problem, of course, with the Kosovo. But for others, I think the time is curing everything. So that's something that I think my message would be that we have to nurture cooperation. We have to nurture. We have to be persistent on the younger generations to learn about long-term goals, long-term achievements, because we are set it in a day-to-day activity. So that's not good. So sorry if I take too much time, but I hope I tried to bring some maybe case study that Eastern Europe and actually Serbia got in creating a platform where you have free trade agreements. Then we signed, actually, I think the only country in Europe that signed a joint future act between two presidents about Serbia and China. So sharing the future is something that United Nations is supposed to carry on. And now we are signing in between bilateral agreements. And that's something we have to turn back to the institutions again. Thank you very much.